Welcome back, guys. Game number 2 here between TSL Killer and DieStar. Yes, this is, again, a best-of-3 series, and what a short game number 1, huh? DieStar pushing out with that 3 racks, and unfortunately, Killer not scouting that out, going 3-gate expand. He got rolled over. Some nice target fire from DieStar, taking out Killer's sentries. Was just way too much. He allowed DieStar to walk up into the main, and there was nothing that Killer could have done about that. Sorry for that little blip there. Kind of a little burp. But anyways, yes, here we go. Game number 2 here. And Killer's going to be spawning in the upper left position here of Shakur's Plateau as our blue Protoss player. And down in the bottom right, we do have DieStar as the red Terran player. And yes, game number 2 in this best-of-3. First game going to DieStar. DieStar, again, placing that depot, interestingly enough, just away from his main. You see a lot of times we'll see that Terran player grab that depot and just stick it right next to his main base, and this allows him, of course, to cut back on the lack of mining time. But we also did see DieStar did pull out with that rallied SCV that just came out from building, so he didn't actually have to pull anyone off of the income. He didn't have to pull anyone off of the mineral line, so there you go. Very, very cool stuff, and here comes that Rax as well. So DieStar, obviously, this is what's going to happen. Every single game is a Terran play for the opening. Very rarely do you see anything other than 10 depot, 12 racks. It's really from there. You see the refineries, timing is different, and everything like that. But anyways, yeah, it's a great statement there. Force something that people already knew. What is Killer going to do this game? He's going. No, is he really going straight for a Nexus? Oh my gosh, Killer, what are you doing? You fast expanded last game and you got rolled. He's feeling more comfortable this time, though. This is nuts. Straight Nexus, just straight up Nexus. What a baller, huh? What a baller indeed. He doesn't care at all. Straight Nexus, he should be cutting probes for a second to get that gateway. Actually, no, he won't have to. It looks like he should be able to get it. Yeah, he'll be cutting 1 probe cycle to get this gateway and then picking it right back up in just 1 moment. But still, my gosh. After getting rolled for quick expanding, you would figure that a player wouldn't go straight 15 Nexus. Now, keep in mind, there's a big difference between Xel'Naga Caverns and Shakur's Plateau. Especially here, we got a cross-positional spawn. And, you know, Killer it has the advantage of being much further away from his opponent this game. The actual ground distance between this cross-positional and Shakur's Plateau as opposed to in Xel'Naga, it's a much further distance. So because of that, he's got ample time to prepare. And I'm assuming that he's going to be relying on some force field defense. But this is just crazy. We got those 2 Marines trying to kill off that probe. Didn't happen. As we can see, DieStar fully scouting this. He's aware of what's going on. There's no question in his mind. Now we're going to see some pretty Vespene heavy opening here from Killer. I do expect that second assimilator to come out before the Cybernetics core finishes, because I'm saying this, I'm assuming that he's going to be relying on those sentries early game to be able to defend himself, because otherwise, man, 15 Nexus, that's just risky, but hey, good on him, you know what I mean? Now back over here for DieStar, completely mixing it up this game as opposed to the 3 racks that we saw from him last game. We're going to be seeing a Hellion opening, and this is going to allow him, of course, to be pretty aggressive and try to do some economic damage. And actually, with that said, I'm a bit concerned for Killer right now. I really am. This is a little bit scary. He's also going to be getting that starport, so what we will be seeing is heavy unupgraded Marine, Hellions, and a medevac. This is a very popular TVP push. Ooh, no, maybe not. Maybe he's just opening up with the 1 Hellion. Does he have 2? I thought, yeah, he just has the 1. So it might be just opening up with that 1 Hellion for some scouting, but mixing it up. I really expected this could be the Infernal Pre-Igniter push, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's just pretty interesting. Let's see what he decides to do here. It's really going to be the determinant factor. Oh, no. Oh, no, he's doing nothing that I was expecting at all. He's going to be switching it up here. Starport going on the tech lab, and with that, he will be picking up a Banshee. It was either going to be Banshee or Raven. There's a Raven Marine push that is it's not commonplace, but I have seen it. I've seen it a few times at least in TVP, so that definitely was a possibility. But DieStar just scouting out, and we'll be opening up with some Banshee play. Interestingly enough, so very, very cool opening here from DieStar. We'll be interested to see how effective he is going to be with this. Also getting a tech lab there in the factory. Looks like another reactor, so this will be a timing push, in fact, but since he's clearly not going to be upgrading those Marines anytime soon by dropping that second reactor. Stalker's pushing up into Marine Heavy, and they can do a bit of damage, but that's a bit too many Marines to walk into. That one Stalker needs to micro back. Killer needs to pull back with that. He's doing a lot of damage, though. Let's take a quick look at the unit loss tab. so far. Actually, unfortunately, Killer is behind because he lost that Zealot plus a Worker, so that put him a little bit further behind than what we're seeing DieStar at right now. But DieStar moving out right now with that first Banshee, and here it is. Okay, so there is the Raven. My gosh, I'm like, what is he doing? What is he doing? So yes, he is just going to be harassing with this Raven, but he will be going for that timing push. Some unupgraded tanks as well as these Marines and this Raven. There's another build. Please don't make me wrong on this one as well, DieStar. That is what I'm expecting, though. That's what it looks like at the least. He could obviously mix it up. You know, this is a game about adaptability. You can switch up whenever, and he may very well be trying for something else. Now, keep in mind, this Banshee is not, doesn't have that cloak research. That's what I was trying to say before I freaked out because of that engagement. So with that, the Stalker should have a fairly easy time of taking him out and shooting him out of the sky. And yeah, it doesn't look like DieStar's actually going to get any damage done with that whatsoever. We do in fact have that siege tech coming out right now. A little Raven on patrol there as well as some Marines that should be taking care of any possible floating observer. And look at that, the floating observer making his way across the map. So if he happens to move in this direction, he will get sniped from the sky so very quickly. But either way, with these unupgraded Marines, I still am expecting that timing push from DieStar. He is throwing that siege tech into the mix though. I have seen pushes a little bit earlier, not waiting for the siege tech, and that allows you to move out with that heavy DPS of just those regular tanks. But by the time this push actually hits the front door of Killer, that siege tech will be finished. So here we go, push moving across the map. The observer will be moving in a bit too late. He will be checking those production buildings. We got a few SCVs moving out for some repairs as well, and yeah, going to be a pretty interesting engagement. We'll see how much damage he can do. He should have that point defense drone as well, and he will. He's going to have enough energy for that point defense drone, so we should drop that down. That's going to help tremendously against that Stalker fire there. But here we go, the timing push against the fast expand. Now again, keep in mind, this timing push could make or break Killer right now. If he does defend himself, what's going to happen is he's going to have a tremendous advantage because of the fact that he has this strong economy over what DieStar has. We take a look at the income tab right now. Killer is just rolling over him, so DieStar's really relying on this push, doing quite a bit of damage. He needs to push forward. He needs that point defense drone pretty bad right now, setting up shop with those tanks. Here we go, Banshee and Marines pushing forward, and Killer going to be losing this expansion. We've got some Blink Stalkers, though. He's got an opportunity if he can try to get up under those tanks. He needs to take out that Raven first thing and prevent that point defense drone from going down. But oh no, Killer taking out this expansion without issue. Blink Stalkers moving out for the counterattack. Killer will be counterattacking right now. DieStar's at the front of the base right now. We do need some sentries to keep these force fields down, or else DieStar is going to walk right up into his base. We're seeing a supply block right now. DieStar still at the front base. The Blink Stalkers aren't engaging. Killer, what are you doing? He's moving back. I think he's just trying to catch DieStar by surprise with these Blink Stalkers. Is it going to be worth it, though? He's going to get one unit. Oh, my gosh. I really wanted him to counterattack really bad. I think he was trying to move out the backside and possibly try to snipe out some tanks. Now we got a few Stalkers moving from this side, and we might actually see a sandwich with both groups of Blink Stalkers right now. Let's see what happens. Again, Blink Stalkers moving out the back, and actually, no, those are heading back home to retreat to deal with one Banshee. That's very unfortunate, but here we go, Blink Stalkers. Now, a big problem for DieStar right now is without Stim Pack and without, and just with those slow siege tanks, he's going to have a hard time keeping up with these Blink Stalkers. I think Killer's going to take advantage of that. He's just going to try to move around and do as much damage as possible and just staying out of the range. Again, without Stim Pack, those Marines really don't have a chance to catch up and actually do too much damage. And the Blink Stalkers moving into low ground. It looks like he did get rid of that Banshee that was floating up over here, so the Stalkers in the main for Killer took care of that. But he did do a bit of damage, but overall, he's quite a bit behind. In fact, he has got twice as many resources lost as DieStar has right now. So really going to have to do something else to try to get back in this game because he is hurting right now. He is hurting pretty bad. DieStar has this expansion almost finished building. Again, these Blink Stalkers have the mobility advantage right now. Still, no Stim Pack coming out. I need to see that. There we go. Finally, DieStar switching up and allow him to get that Stim Pack research. That is absolutely crucial. Observer needs to be very careful. Just needs to make sure he stays away from this Raven. We have a point defense drone sitting over the hair that's got a bit of energy left that's going to actually last for quite a while. Those point defense drones will sit there for a long time. But here we go. Vision of the high ground with the Observer. We will be seeing Killer blink up into the main, and let's see if he knew much damage. Is he going to be able to? There we go. Blinking up into the main. He's going to do a bit of damage to try to target fire down that tank. Yes, he does. He gets it down and actually taking a lot of damage from that siege fire. And it looks like he is, in fact, forced to retreat right now. Observer needs to be careful. No, he's not retreating. There's the point defense drone. And that, in fact, will force the retreat. Is he going to work through it? Yes, he will. A few more Blink Stalkers moving up to engage. And DieStar not pulling down all of his forces because he thought he had it. I don't think he was expecting these reinforcement Blink Stalkers. And doing some damage right now. Killer making his way back into the game. evening things up quite a bit. He's still behind, but not as far behind as he was prior to this Blink Stalker harass. Phenomenal here from Killer. Killer's got a little bit more oomph in him right now. He's staying and trying to do some more damage, taking out that depot, getting it burning. Let's see if that burns all the way through, or if we do see a repair here from DieStar. DieStar should repair. We did see Killer pull back and actually, no, he's not gonna repair it, is he? He's not going to repair it. Does he not know about it? I don't know what happens, and see you later. So see you later, Depot. We get 2 Banshees moving across the map right now. That was very nice for Killer, though. He did a bit of damage, and he's got himself back in this game. Not as nearly as far behind as he was prior. Now we got Stimpack just about finished. Transition coming over here as well for Killer. He has got those Templar Archives just about finished right now, working up those level 1 melee upgrades as well, and getting another Observer. A couple more simulators down here at that Expo as well. Now we have 2 more Banshees getting ready to move on in. Still no Cloak, though, so don't think they'll do too much damage. We should just see some Blink Stalkers swoop up and take care of them. There we go, getting warped in. That's going to get targeted down, though. He needs more Blink Stalkers than that. We got a few of them sitting over here, and actually Killer forced to pull off the line because of this harassment. We'll be situating down here, sitting super Zealot heavy. He's got that charge upgrade for them, but here we go. A couple Blink Stalkers, in fact 3, are enough to push back just these 2 Banshees. The 2 Banshees really don't stand a chance. Without that Cloak research, those Blink Stalkers will be more than enough. We got a few more Blink Stalkers situated over here. We will be seeing some more mobile harass here from Killer. The siege tank's not sieged up. That would have helped him a lot if he had that tank sieged up before that push actually came in there. He did take a bit of damage, only killed off a few SCVs as well. Overall, I do not think that was worth it for Killer, but still, got to do what you can. Got to at least try to do some damage. Blink Stalkers moving forward, taking out 1 Banshee, and that was actually because of some missed micro from DieStar. DieStar had it in the free, free and clear, but unfortunately with that missed micro, lost that Banshee, pulling it back at the last moment right into that Stalker fire. So let's take one more look at the unit loss tab. And actually, while Killer is now quite a bit behind because that Banshee harass, plus losing all those Stalkers back here, and DieStar might be taking advantage of that, or is he just moving into an Expo? Think he might be pushing, though. Looks like it may be a push. He is first grabbing that Zelnaga tower, pushing on out, and we might be seeing him actually get ready for a third. He's staying very Rax heavy, also coming out with these double medevacs as well, throwing in some siege tanks into the mix. We've got that Observer, and looks like that will scout out the fact that this push is coming. So right now, Killer is aware of this heavy push coming across the map from DieStar. How is he going to prepare? He's going to engage before this tank siege up. Charge Zealots moving straight on in, sniping out those tanks right away. We got some tanks here in the background. The Charge Zealots pushing back that bio, though, allowing those Blink Stalkers to move up right under, sniping some of those medevacs, and there we go. An Archon will be enough to take out that siege tank, plus those Charge Zealots, and that is exactly what Killer needed to get himself back in this game. My gosh, right now DieStar is behind because that engagement went so very badly for him, and well, that's a problem when you invest so many resources in tanks. If you ever get caught out of position, especially by Charge Zealots and Blink Stalkers, that'll be the end of you right now. And here we go, Charge Zealots going headway into the base here. The expansion of DieStar. DieStar a little bit worried here, coming down with some bunkers as some frontal defense, and actually we will be seeing Killer push back right now. We have this 1 Viking sitting over here. I'm not sure that we've got any more Banshees in play. No, we do not. Making that transition into a bio heavy. We're really surprised actually they're still sticking with these tanks. The reason I mention them is, like, as you saw, tanks aren't used very often in TVP for this very reason, because if you get caught out of position, that is it. That is GG. And there's some strong mobility between Charge Zealots and Blink Stalkers that makes it very difficult. That if you're even just a moment off, it's gonna force a loss there. So seeing some counteraction here from DieStar, moving out with that medevac. We'll be dropping that. Appears to be right in back of the main, and there we go. Actually prepared to drop right in that resource line. Looks like we'll be taking manual control of that, circumventing the vision here from those pylons, trying to make it so that Killer is not aware until the last possible moment that this drop is coming. This won't do too much damage. Don't expect it to. I expect Killer to pull off with these workers, but still, we'll be trying to just do a little bit of damage. Killing off even a few workers is really enough. We got a couple of Zealots getting warped in, and the second that happens, picking up in the medevac, and with some nice medevac micro, keeping these guys alive for very long. Beautiful micro, picking everyone up as soon as the reinforcement Charge Zealots came on through, and then pushing on back. That was a successful drop there for DieStar. Took 0 losses. You can see he's got that full medevac right there. and did a little bit of damage. He didn't do a ton of damage. He didn't absolutely devastate his opponent, but still doing a little bit of damage is enough. We've got Killer moving across, checking for that possibility of a hidden expansion up here. That does happen from time to time. You'll see a player actually hide an expo on their opponent's half of the map. This does two things. One, that's kind of the least likely place that a player would check for an opponent's expansion. And two, you steal some of the resources from their half of the map. So if we're pushing into the late game, it actually puts you in a really, really strong position there. Walking into some siege fire. He needs to push back, though. We saw a full salvage there of all those bunkers, and actually he salvaged all those bunkers, and then once seeing those Blink Stalkers, said, crap, I need them again. So coming down with those bunkers right now. Blink Stalkers with vision on the high ground, taking out that tank. Very nice there from Killer. That this observer with those Blink Stalkers has just been absolutely beautiful for him. And Killer not moving into an expo. Really surprised. We're 20 minutes in game. Still sticking on these two bases. These guys are pros, though. They know what they're doing, and what this results in is you have a strong force, and if your opponent expands, they could spread themselves a little too thin, and you could push out on them and take advantage of it. That's something that I reiterate every so often, and you do see it certainly in professional play. It's something to keep in mind as well in your own gameplay. We got another drop coming down over here. That does get overwhelmed, though, by those Charged Zealots. Archon managing to take out a medevac right there. One medevac manages to pull back with two Marines, although that's not going to be able to do too much damage. Actually, another drop over here, but that gets taken out as well from those Charged Zealots. So there we go. All those drops, trying to drop from multiple angles. They do get taken out for the most part. Got those Marines. They will be healed up right now from that medevac, stimming up and trying to work and try to get a few more worker kills there. Looks like they managed to pull away, though. And here we go. A few more Zealots getting warped in. Now we do have a push coming across the map right now. It looks like it is actually DieStar just trying to defend his expansion. Killer sitting at a strong army, 102 to 73. Killer's got a big advantage over DieStar right now. And here comes the push. Charged Zealots moving in. We got some High Templar in the background. Big storms going down on the bio, taking massive damage. Charged Zealots in hot pursuit. Blink Stalkers taking out the rest of the tanks. And oh no, we need some more reinforcements. We saw an EMP and that did a bit of damage to those Stalkers. Not sure if it's going to be enough though. Blink Stalkers, are they going to manage to take out this expansion before that planetary comes in? And there we go, DieStar realizing it's over and calling the GG. Despite losing because of a fast expansion last game, Killer went 15 Nexus this game and then worked his way up into his Gateway and Cybercore. DieStar, however, opened up with some Banshee harass and followed up with a Marine tank Raven timing push. Killer was fully aware those Banshees were coming and had no problem fending it off with early Stalkers. DieStar's timing push came in 10 minutes, and Killer was not prepared for this. With the threat of a point defense drone, plus his tank fire and that heavy Marine DPS, Killer had nothing to help protect himself from losing this expansion. So DieStar just pushed right on up, took it out, and Killer was forced to stay in his main. Killer did have one big advantage, though, and that was mobility. With these Blink Stalkers and realizing how slow DieStar's army was, he took advantage by counter-harassing and doing a little bit of damage. Now, eventually, DieStar was able to push it out of the main base, but still, he took a few losses there. Killer continued to take advantage of his mobility and was constantly harassing DieStar with these Blink Stalkers. And it was just a little bit of damage here and a little bit of damage there that really added up. DieStar attempted to push out at the 17-minute mark, however, he got completely caught off guard, unsieged, and the Charged Zealots plus Blink Stalkers were able to tear through his tanks plus his bio, and this was a very big turning point in the game that put Killer back into the midst of things. DieStar attempted to expand. Realizing this, Killer pushed out again and was able to mop up what DieStar had. He just was completely overwhelmed. DieStar did not have enough forces, plus dealing with that Psionic Storm, and at this point was forced to call the GG. Alright guys, that was game number 2 in this best of 3 series. We're now tied up 1-1, moving on to game number 3 in just one moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.